Hi, I'm Kim, taking you through the stories people are talking about and sharing around the world on NewsFeed today. One golden ride, France goes wild after winning the World Cup. Elon's Twitter troubles. Musk goes on the offensive against a British diver who helped rescue the stranded Thai football team. Eritrea phone home. After 20 years of war, strangers in Ethiopia and Eritrea call just to say what up. And the dramatic rescue of a whale and its majestic song. So France have won the World Cup, but even if you missed the on-field action, never fear. The best stuff actually came after the game, behind the scenes. After their 4-2 victory over Croatia, every French player picked up their iPhone, or phone of course, and midfielder Paul Pogba's was particularly hot.
Hey, hey, hey, me voy a bailar con esa copa. I will dance with la cat. It's coming home. It's coming home. Sorry.
That was just the start of his pretty deep burn. He was singing the It's Coming Home tune, getting at England in a friendly way, singing his own version of their chant. But we can forgive him for that because he also dabbed with the World Cup trophy, producing some cool images. The best reaction, though, came from Benjamin Mendy, who you can see here, because if you don't ask your president to dab in the locker room after winning the World Cup, have you really even lived? Perhaps the best reaction, though, was sparked by this photo featuring a sheltered Putin standing next to the soaking leaders of France and Croatia. Siobhan questions how many umbrellas they have in Russia, while Oki purports that Putin is so powerful he invoked the rain as a shower of power. SpaceX and Tesla CEO Elon Musk has gone on another bizarre Twitter rant, this time taking aim at the lead cave diver from last week's rescue mission in Thailand. In a series of now deleted tweets, Musk takes aim at the diver, referring to him as a pedo. It follows an interview given by the diver Vern Unsworth in which he called Musk's offer of a specially designed small submarine a PR stunt. All 12 boys and their football coach were successfully rescued from the caves by a team of both Thai and international divers, many of whom called Musk's invention not practical for the mission. Well, Unsworth has hit back and says he's considering taking legal action against Musk. It is getting pretty nasty.
It's not finished. I believe he's called me a paedophile. Well, by definition, you know, rescuing 12 young boys, by definition, that puts everybody else in the same context.
After everything you've done, how does it make you feel when he goes and puts that out there to the world?
I'm not going to make any further comment about him, but I think people realise what sort of guy he is.
Well, unsurprisingly, Elon Musk's pedo comment sparked outrage online. Robert Percy tweeting that the implication that British expats who live in Thailand are kiddie fiddlers is a little bit racist. Kumail making the same point, but adding that sometimes white guys visit Thailand to show off their useless submarines. A woman in Saudi Arabia has reportedly been arrested after hugging a male singer at a concert. Footage of the hug was captured by a member of the audience. In it, she can be seen holding on to the singer while security try to pull her off. Police say she's been arrested for criminal acts as per an anti-harassment regulatory act. Media reports that a public prosecutor is now considering charges against her. Women in the kingdom are not allowed to mix with men they're not related to. Well, let's have a look at what else is trending on social media. Passenger Kevin Burke captured this eerily quiet moment. A Ryan airplane dropped nearly 30,000 feet in less than 10 minutes on Friday. Some on board said they were bleeding from the airs due to the depressurization. 33 people needed medical treatment when they finally got off the flight, which was meant to go to Croatia, but which made an emergency landing in Germany. ScarJo is pulled out of the film Rub and Tug, in which she was meant to play a transgender character. Trans activists have applauded her move and say trans actors already struggle for mainstream roles. In a statement, Johansson said she's learned a lot about the trans community and now realises the casting was insensitive. Johansson was trolled once before when she took on the lead role in Ghost in the Shell, a science fiction film based on Japanese manga. Another big sporting event this weekend, the Wimbledon final, but if you're into conspiracy theories like me, it's the crowd you should really pay attention to. The real-life alter egos of Marvel stars, Spider-Man, Doctor Strange and Loki, were all seen cheering on the tennis stars from the stands. But luckily there was no need for concern, with Thanos nowhere in sight. Sky gazers were rewarded on Sunday night with a rare sighting of Venus snuggling up close to the moon. Those on the west coast of the US had the best sight, the two appearing just half an inch from each other. Pretty cute. Turkey has marked 2 years since a coup attempt in which 250 people were killed, many of them unarmed civilians. Thousands of people gathered across the country, many of them at the renamed July 15 Martyrs Bridge in Istanbul. Watch this.
Rabbim bu millete bir daha 15 Temmuzvari acılar, travmalar yaşatmasın. Aziz kardeşlerim, bugün hem derin bir kederi hem de büyük bir gururu aynı anda yüreğimizde hissediyoruz.
Well, a 13-year-old from Macedonia wanted to honour those who died during the 2016 coup attempt in a really different way. Using his passion, cycling, he recruited the help he needed and made a really memorable journey.
July 15, 2016 was a turning point in Turkey's history. People of different ages were martyred, and many of them were young. Together, the people of Turkey defended their country and thwarted the coup attempt. What happened that night changed the perspective of many youngsters in Turkey and in other countries as well.
Ben dayım Muharrem, 13 yaşındayım, Makedonya doğumluyum. Üsküp'ten İstanbul'a 800 kilometre bisikletle geldik. 15 Temmuz şehitlerin anısını yaşatmak için.
Dame Muharrem spent a week pedaling for the martyrs from the Macedonian capital. He was accompanied by two other bikers while Dame's father followed them by car.
Benim oğlum 13 yaşında şu anda ve pedal çevirmeyi düşünüyorum eğer ki desteklersem. Ben de dedim hiç tereddüt etmeden, 2 defa düşünmeden dedim ne gerekiyorsa maddi manevi.
2 years have passed since the coup attempt and the young martyrs remain in the memory of generations to follow.
15 Temmuz'da sokağa dökülüp hayatını kaybeden gençler boşuna hayatını kaybetmedi. Arkalarından benim gibi birçok gence ışık tuttular. Onların anısı hep bizimle olacak.
Protests are continuing in Iraq despite authorities' attempts to block some social media. Baghdad was trying to stop demonstrations from spreading. Videos and photos of the protests have been widely shared on social media platforms. Protests broke out last week and demonstrators are angry over unemployment levels and dodgy power and water services. Now, I barely check my missed calls at the best of times, but imagine getting a missed call from 1997, being blocked for 20 years and then calling back. That's exactly what's happening between people from Eritrea and Ethiopia. After a 20-year border war, the two sides have made peace, which means the phone lines are finally open. Let's go around the world now for some other stories you need to know about this Monday.
This is what Chicago looks like. Tell me what Chicago looks like.
Protesters took to the streets of Chicago in response to the fatal shooting of a 37-year-old barber by police. Protesters stopped outside the dead man's barber shop for a moment of silence. The protest followed the release of this footage. Police made the body cam footage public just a day after the shooting to show that the man had an apparently concealed weapon. But the footage does not include audio, so it's unclear what, if any, warnings Harith Augustus was given before he was shot dead. This looks like CGI, but I promise this is for real. A giant iceberg has drifted too close for comfort for a village in Greenland. People have been evacuated over fears that it could cause a tsunami as huge chunks break off and crash into the sea. Now, there's certain do's and don'ts when you meet the Queen, and bless her heart, the Queen did try to help US President Donald Trump. Here she is trying to shimmy him over because the first rule is walk in line. The second rule is never turn your back on the Queen, and here he is losing track of her. Eventually, though, they figure it out, so that's all right. You're about to get a crash course in hippotherapy. If you've never heard of it, which was me up until today, it's a beautiful way of building social, emotional and physical resilience, all on the back of a horse. Take a look.
Bu mayalanmadan ben buradan çok bereketli sonuçlar çıkacağını ümit ediyorum, görüyorum.
Now to my favourite story about the most majestic mammal in the whole kingdom, the whale, of course. This young humpback found him or herself caught up in a shark net off the coast of Queensland. SeaWorld workers were called in to help disentangle the beauty. And before it swims off, it appears to say thanks in its really beautiful whaley song. That's all from the NewsFeed team. Reach out to me with your questions, your comments, or complaints, of course, and suggestions at Kim Vanel. You'll find us 24/7 on Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook. Follow, subscribe, we'll see you tomorrow.